It's just like old times. Just you and me. So this is not how this moving vlog was supposed to go at all. As you can see, I'm in my cute new 200 and something year old apartment. I have Laurel here, and I have Claire here. It's been a fucking time, and it gets worse. This little one is going in for surgery for a lumpectomy on Tuesday, and I'm gonna lose my fucking mind if I lose this angel. But you're probably like, wait, hold up. What's with the box? As you last knew, I was in the process of moving into a haunted apartment, which I clearly did, and my life was quickly consumed with chaos. I don't even know where to start. Well, first off, this footage that I took of my old apartment with Claire in it means a lot more to me now. So we moved here. You know, I mainly moved to this apartment in this area for Claire. I wanted to give her a better quality of life. I wanted to be able to take her hiking to the gorge and on long walks and like walk at all hours of the day. And I'm grateful that she had like a month or two of that, like 2 months of that. We had a great time. Like we went hiking in the Niagara Gorge. You know, she made friends with a bunch of people in the village, all the townies. You know, I brought her into the vet because she was refusing to jump down from things, and she yelped a couple times when I like picked her up from her chest, which isn't unusual for her. She gets chafing in her armpits, but I wanted to get it checked out. But I had noticed that her breathing was not normal, and you know, she had lost a lot of weight, but we were focusing on losing weight because she was a chunky gal. So I took her to the new vet that's over here. This vet just said it was back pain, gave me some gabapentin, and like sent me on my way. So I scheduled an appointment with her to go to her old vet, which was half an hour away back in the city. I brought her in. They said that her lungs sounded fine, her heart sounded great, and that they would recommend doing x-rays. So I did that out of precaution, just, you know, as a good dog parent. Now, they probably already thought I was crazy because I had brought her in a couple months prior because she wasn't really acting herself. You know, I had asked about her weight and she got like a perfect body score. So yeah, skinny is in, but it's not. So the vet came in and said, so you're not crazy. Claire's bleeding internally. And I was like, what? And the vet said, did she get into any rat poison? And I was like, maybe? 2 days prior was Garden Fest. The whole like village shuts down. Oh yeah, and Claire was in a fucking Hallmark movie. More on that later, maybe. The whole street shuts down and they do like a garden fest. They have like plant vendors and sculpture vendors and all this stuff and food vendors. And on one of our walks, I was so proud of Claire too, because we were working on her aggression and we had walked the whole entire garden fest so many times. She didn't react to a single dog. And now I'm like, maybe that's because my poor little baby girl was not doing well. But during Garden Fest, I had noticed that she picked something up off the ground and I quickly, you know, took my finger, scooped it over her throat and like threw it away. I didn't know what it was. So we thought that it was warfarin poisoning. So I rushed her to the animal hospital, the big medical center, which was another hour away. And she was admitted for the night. They did a bunch of tests. We thought it was warfarin poisoning for a long time. If you follow me on Instagram or TikTok, you saw me crying my eyes out. But it turns out that Claire had cancer. She had a mass on her liver, possibly another on her heart, and possibly another on her lymph node. And she was really struggling to breathe. And so I gave her, you know, a really good last day. I did film that and take a bunch of pictures. She couldn't really breathe most of the time. So like we kind of sat out. There's this peace garden outside of my apartment. We sat out there. I let her, you know, have a lot of cheese and a lot of food that she's not allowed to have. And we sat around the house because she could like barely walk. You know, I took her out for what I thought was her last potty before the vet came to help her cross over. And she lunged across the street, across a crosswalk that we never use. And she had all of this energy and she just started sprinting in the direction of the state park. So I was like, you know what? This is your last day. I'm gonna make it the best last day that I can give you. So I picked her up and I brought her to the park. We went to all of our favorite spots. We saw the Niagara Gorge. I brought her down to the water. Now there is a trail that starts at the parking lot and goes up to the very top. And she had been there with me on my birthday because we took a big hike in the gorge and hiked down the escarpment. Not to brag, but Claire is a pretty impressive Chihuahua. Not only is she hiking these pretty dangerously steep trails, but like we started all the way up there. I don't even know if you can see it up there. And we've been going for quite some time. And she is ready and rip-roaring, excited for life. And she must have remembered that, and she just wanted to go up to the top of the hill so bad. But her appointment was in like 15 minutes and I had to get her back home. So she was never able to go. So I'm gonna take her up there, her ashes anyway, probably the day that I take her in for surgery. There were these two lovely women who saw Claire at the park and they're like, wow, what a beautiful dog. And I broke down crying in front of these poor women and they both gave me hugs and they were really sweet. And on that walk, I found a daisy on the side of the path, and daisies are my favorite flower. I picked it and I put it in Claire's collar, and then I decided that I would keep it, and then I lost it on the walk back to her appointment. But Claire got put down here at home, in my arms. It was a pretty good experience. The vet's name was Dr. Dunn, and you can't fucking make that up. Dr. Dunn, her paying attention to the vet and not giving me any kisses. She hadn't given me any affection, ever since I got her back from the hospital. I had a fear that she thought that I did this to her. I don't know, it was a lot. And losing her was a lot. Because she really was my little soulmate. And this one's definitely my soulmate. And after her appointment, the first thing I did was I went out to find that fucking daisy. I walked for an hour tracing my steps back and forth because I was just determined to find that fucking daisy. It just meant irrationally way too much to me. But then part of me was like, well, maybe I've lost this flower because life is like a flower. It grows, it blooms, and then it dies. But I'm too much of a headstrong bitch for that, and I did end up finding the flower. It was trampled and crushed, but I saved it. I tried to revive it by putting it in water, and I ended up making it worse. And so it's in this little memory box that I bought at my favorite antique store down the street. It has Aphrodite and Eros on it, which I thought was pretty fitting. And so I keep a lot of her stuff in there. I took a lot of paw prints. I'm gonna get a tattoo. Every time we went for a walk, I would always grab her two little front paws and say, are you ready? Let's go, and give her a little kiss on the forehead. And I wanna do something with that. I don't know if that's gonna work as a tattoo, but I have so many of her paw prints. I have so much of her fur. So she's still with me, and this still smells like her. So that's a nice comfort. Yeah, and Claire had this GoFundMe, and I was blown away with the support that she got. Her costs were $5,000, and friends, strangers, my old neighbors donated so much money. We raised $2,500. So still a lot of money I spent to help save Claire, but at least I had time to grieve, or I thought I had time to grieve. She's been with me for 10 years now, and I wouldn't have found her lump on her, so I'm hoping this was divine intervention. So if you follow me on TikTok, you saw that I got something off of Facebook Marketplace that was absolutely filled with earwigs. And so my contamination OCD made me think that there were earwigs in the house, that I had gotten bed bugs, and so I put some glue traps out. And the other day I heard this rustling, and she's a feisty one, and I thought she was just playing with a bag or something, and I came out here and I found a glue trap on the floor with a big patch of fur in it, and I was like, oh God. So I picked her up and I was checking her over to make sure there wasn't any adhesive on her, and I found this lump. And so I immediately made an appointment for a different vet in town who has been absolutely spectacular. So we aspirated it. It was definitely cancer, but I'm hoping, her surgery is on Tuesday. So if you could please send all of your good vibes. Laurel's tumor is almost 2 centimeters, which is good, the outcomes, of tumors that are under 2 centimeters. Like the prognosis is really good as long as it hasn't spread and like metastasized. So when I take her, I'm hoping that the vet will be able to do a full mammary chain removal on her. Some regular vets won't do it. Some opt for a surgeon to do it. But my best friend's a vet at a zoo in Australia, and she told me that it's not that complicated. And honestly, for the peace of mind, like if it hasn't spread, like I would prefer them to just do it in one surgery. But I can't lose her. I can't lose 2 of my best friends in like the span of a month. It's been a lot. Yeah, a lot of guilt on my part with Claire and a lot of processing of that. And then, trying to make sure that Laurel is, living her best life. Like I was now planning on like getting a stroller for Laurel and taking her out on walks in the town so she can enjoy the town. And now I'm like, am I even gonna be able to do that? I don't know. I'm glad that Claire had the time that she did here in this little small town. Like I said, she got to be on the set of a Hallmark movie. The PAs loved her. And, I've met some really great townies. Community's not dead in a small town. Why am I on here yapping about this? This is what I've always done. I started YouTube in 2006. I was a vlog channel. I was planning on, doing vlogging again, but there's these beautiful windowsills. This building is from the 1820s, and I have 9 big windowsills. They're this wide. I was gonna do a video me sewing cushions so that Laurel can, lounge in all the windows in the house. And now I'm like, come here. So if you could give Laurel your thoughts, keep her in your thoughts and send her good vibes and prayers or whatever for a successful recovery and a good prognosis, it would be appreciated. I know you're probably like, what are you doing making a vlog about this? But maybe I should do it a little bit more. Laurel and I's life going forward, because I choose to believe that she's going to be with me for many more years. And maybe a little ghost hunt to this haunted apartment. But if you follow me on my socials, you get a little bit more insight, real-time updates if you're actually interested. So follow me on my Instagram or my TikTok. Thanks for listening if you made it this far. Hopefully next time will be a much happier video. Actually, no, next time will be a much happier video. Okay? Bye.